Hello everyone, tonight we're going to be generating a multi-sun analysis using the Arnold Light and the Daylight tools in 3ds Max. So in order to get started, as you can see, we've got our OSM map generated using MapRoom 70, which we won't get into because there is other tutorials on it. So without further ado, what we need to do is, in order to get started with our lights, we need to create layers. So as you can see, I've already created one blank layer, so we can rename that to 9 AM. As we want to have our lights at different times. So for instance, we're going to have one at 9 AM, another at 12 PM, so 12 noon. (2 PM), 4 PM, and then 6 PM. Oops. Cool. So once we've created our layers, all we need to do is, in order to get started, we need to insert our light objects. So to do that, we click on the create, and then we select systems, which is the two cogs, to insert our daylight tool, which is located under object type. So once we do that, we click on it, and then we can set our time to 9 AM and the day and the month to the 21st of the 6th, 2022. And then first of all, we need to set our location to clicking on our location, we need to set it to Melbourne, Australia. So under the control parameters and location, we click on get location, and then from the drop down menu we select Australia and then select Melbourne from the list of cities. And as you can see, I've set our city to Melbourne, and then the time zone changes to 10. So with that being said, all we need to do is just drag the object. We need to click on the screen and then drag along until, as you can see, we've got a compass generating. And then from there, once that compass is generated, we just drag up our daylight tool, daylight top hat, and then click. Oops. Click until it's in. I was on the wrong layer, so what I'll do is I'll transfer that to 9 AM. Yep, so once we have our daylight in, what we need to do next is we need to insert our Arnold light. So with our Arnold light, we need to go into, so under the create, we need to click on lights, and then from the drop down menu we select Arnold. And with our Arnold light, we need to make sure that it is set as the shape, the emit light. The emit light is set to distance, and that is located under shape. And then from there, we need to make sure that it is dragged up. And aligned. So to align it, what we need to do is we need to align we click on our box and then we align it using the quick align tool. Now what I'll do is I'll do it again, but this time with the sun. So as you can see, our sun is a bit wonky, so we're going to hope it will zoom in. So using the quick align tool, all we need to do is just click on the top hat and then align it. Oops, that didn't work. So yep, there we go. As you can see, we've aligned it. However, what it's done is it's sort of moved the bottom box, as you can see, down to that was down there towards along the y-axis. So to realign it, we'll need to do that. Just make sure, and then just click, making sure that it is in. So what we'll do now is, if worst comes to worst, you can always delete it and start again. So what we'll do now is we'll line that to that. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, there we go. So once that's aligned, what we need to do next is we need to link them. So in order to link, we need to grab our little select and link tool, and then drag from our little top, from our sun to the top hat. Drag a line out from our sun to the top hat, and then click, and then just click on it, and then it should link. So once that's done, all we need to do now is we'll just go into our modify, click on the top hat, go into modify, and also another thing we need to do is we need to make sure that both our under daylight parameters, that both our sunlight and skylight are set to off. So we unclick active, and then from there, what we need to do now is just to make sure that the two are linked. We need to click on setup, and then we can make sure that they haven't linked. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to relink them again. Yep, there we go. I think that's sort of done it. Oh, it was on the wrong layer, so it always helps that it was on the right layer. So make sure that both the Arnold lights and the daylight objects are all, and the compass are all on this. So the Arnold lights, the compass, daylight, and the sky objects, sky and sun objects are all on the same layout. So once they're in and you're certain that they're linked, all we need to do now is we need to make sure that they go into the time and date. And as you can see, as I move the hours up and down, both are moving along at the same time. So that's 9 AM done. So with that being said, what we need to do now is we'll need to do our 12 PM. So with 12 p, so what we need to do is in order to do our 12 PM, it's just a simple matter of making sure that all of our layers are selected. Select the move tool, and then drag the shift. The clone option box will come up, so make sure you have got your objects selected as copy, and click OK, and then select second ones, as you can see. Oops, so I'll do that again. Actually, there we go. There we go. And then from there we go 9. Actually, sorry, that wasn't 9 AM. Actually, I shouldn't make that 9 AM. I always get that. So instead of it being 9 AM, so just a quick heads up. Actually, it's 10 AM to 12 PM. So the times we want are 10 AM, 12 PM, 2 PM, 4 PM, and 6 PM. I do apologize. There we go. And the second one, we do that as 12. Make sure that they're all linked. There we go, so 12 PM. number 3. So it's pretty much the same procedure, just select everything that's on the layer and then clicking shift to drag across. So 12 p.m, 2 p.m. Make sure that's set. PM. There we go. And then finally 6 p.m. So once we've got our sunlights in, all we need to do now is just make sure all of our layers are selected. Will help if we have them all open so I can select them individually. Here we go. So we just drag it over the center of Epping. So we might drag it down to just make sure it's over Epping Plaza. So there we go. It's over Epping Plaza, and as you can see, we've got some form of shadows generated. So as you can see, as I've got my Arnold and daylights in now, we've got shadows casting on the southern side of Epping Plaza. So with that being said, the final part is now that we've got to generate a render. So making sure that our viewport is set to perspective and high quality, clicking on our render drop down menu, we select render setup. And then we make sure that from the output size, we make sure that our render is set to 1920 by 1080p. And then we click on render. And as you can see, this will this will come in handy if you're doing like a shadow analysis, a sun shadow analysis of a particular area or a site. Or an existing site. Saves you having to model up the buildings by hand. Actually, I won't do that there. I'll do it over at Epping Plaza. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to cancel it. Yep, so sorry about that, guys. So what we'll need to do is I wanted to have it over Epping Plaza, so make sure you have it over. So make sure your viewport is over the building that you want to render. And then all you got to do now is just click on render. And as you can see, we are rendering. So we'll let that render for a bit. Might take a bit. Just be with us. So in the meantime, I will pause the video. So when the render is being processed, the screen will go still. So you won't be able to work in the 3ds Max workspace until your render has been processed. Which is one telltale sign. Another telltale sign is that the shadows will be a bit dotty which means that which means that the render is in, which means that it is in the process of rendering. So once they've all gone away, it's a sign that it's all pretty much ready. So with our render ready, as you can see, we've got pretty much Epping Plaza generating shadows on the southern side, as you can see, as well as the rest of Epping. So there's basically shadows on the, so using this as a shadow analysis, I'd say there's shadows casting from the southwest, the southeast, on the southeastern side. Generally on the southeastern side to western side, depending on the sun. So, anywho, that is how you do a sun analysis, multi-sun analysis in 3ds Max using the Arnold light and the daylight tool. Thank you for watching. And that also concludes the series of tutorials for dynamic modeling of cities. So, hope you've enjoyed them, and as they say, that's all there is. There isn't any more. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed them.